Hello, I'm John Matea, President of the Goldwater Scholarship Foundation. Thank you for watching my video today. While this video is primarily addressed to students, it's also important for those who mentor students and those who direct fellowship offices to understand the value of linking undergraduate research and applications for a prestigious scholarship. As a student, what you do in the classroom is very important, but you already know that. The work you do outside the classroom is important too. Your activities outside the classroom will help build your resume and, very importantly, will help you start to chart a career path. You need to start looking for opportunities outside the classroom as early in your undergraduate experience as possible. The fall or spring terms of your freshman year are not too early to start looking. It is, however, never too late to start looking either. In this video, I'm going to outline a strategy that you can use that will help you develop your resume and, down the road when you're applying for a scholarship, graduate school, or even a job, will enable you to develop a more competitive application. The approach will also help you structure your undergraduate research experience, thereby helping you make your undergraduate research experience even more productive and successful. By adopting this strategy, you are going to be laying out a roadmap to success for yourself. I would like to give you a quick overview of my presentation. The first thing I'm going to address is why apply for a Goldwater scholarship. Some of you are going to say, I have a full ride, why should I apply? I then want to describe how many, if not most, students approach scholarship applications and how undergraduate research projects often begin. In the next section of the presentation, I'm going to provide you with an overview of the basic elements of the Goldwater application. I will then outline a strategy that uses these elements to strengthen your scholarship application and helps ensure that you have a meaningful and successful undergraduate research experience. Finally, I'm going to tell you about a school that employs this plan. So, why should you apply for a Goldwater scholarship? You already have a full ride, so you don't need the financial support. Goldwater scholarships are held in very high regard by graduate schools and graduate fellowship programs. They take notice of students who are named Goldwater scholars. Your Goldwater portfolio of activities, research projects, publications, and leadership activities are the basis of the activities you will need for other fellowships like the NSF Graduate Research Fellowship and the Hertz Fellowship. Funding that will support you in graduate school. The narrative statements you must develop for Goldwater, like the one you will need to write on your career plans, are similar to the ones that you will need for your graduate school and graduate fellowship applications. The earlier you begin to think about these statements, the stronger and better developed the statements will be. The bottom line is that applying for a Goldwater is a resume enhancer, and it is practice for your graduate school and graduate school fellowship applications. As president of the Goldwater Foundation, I frequently talk with students, campus representatives, and mentors about their application experiences. What I generally find is that students learn of the Goldwater Scholarship in the year they apply, long after they first became involved in research as undergraduates. After learning of the scholarship, the next few weeks are frantic as the student works to assemble all of the information needed for the application. As students have no detailed records, piecing together the required information is a challenge. Students also struggle to identify letter writers, particularly that third one. Time is short and stress levels are high. Mentors often have a difficult time writing meaningful letters because they have not been preparing themselves to do so. Does any of this sound familiar? None of this is really necessary. A typical undergraduate research project will either be a standalone project or one in which a student is integrated into a research team. When joining a project, students are generally given some background literature to read, provided with safety training, and introduced to the research team members. Meetings occur both formally and informally with the team and mentor to discuss the project's progress, challenges, and next steps. Outcomes like presentations, publications, graduate school applications, or scholarship applications are infrequently discussed, and rarely are they part of the initial planning process. little thought is given by either the student or mentor to a student's need to have 3 letter writers. Students do not keep records of their important project contributions, skill development, and the other things I have listed on my PowerPoint. As a result, when it comes time to apply for a scholarship, graduate school, or a job, critical elements are missing and important details are lost. Let's now take a look at the Goldwater program. The scholarship was created by Congress to honor Senator Barry Goldwater upon his retirement from the Senate in 1986. The scholarship is intended to help ensure the nation has the research leadership it needs to maintain its global competitiveness and defense. As such, the mission of the foundation is to identify, encourage, and financially support college sophomores and juniors who show exceptional promise of becoming this nation's next generation of research leaders in the natural sciences, engineering, and mathematics. The important words in the mission statement are in red. How we assess shows exceptional promise is clearly spelled out on our website. We try to be as transparent as possible, and if anyone has a question, we are always just an email away. In my next slide, we will look at the critical elements of a Goldwater application. We assess exceptional promise by evaluating students in the 7 general areas listed on this slide. I'm not going to spend time talking about these general areas today because these details are not what's important for this presentation and because all this information, and much more, is on the Goldwater website. The important takeaway from this slide is that Goldwater asks for a wide array of information that you as a student need to intentionally collect, like skills learned and intellectual contributions. In addition, you need to be intentionally developing presentations and publications. An area like career goals requires careful thought. If you have only thought about career goals for a few weeks, it will be difficult for you to put together a convincing, detailed description of your career goals. Providing a career plan that discusses where you might like to work, what graduate school you would like to attend because they have a research program in your area of interest, and maybe even talk about where you might like to do a postdoc is not the kind of thing that you can pull together in an evening. The level of detail in your Goldwater, graduate school, or job application is important. The strongest applications are the ones that provide the greatest detail. Without prior planning and with no records, assembling this information after the fact will be a challenge. Note the text in bold red letters at the bottom of the slide. The information Goldwater seeks has not changed in any significant way in years, and it is not likely to change in the foreseeable future. What this means is that you can start collecting this information and planning your Goldwater application years before you actually apply for the scholarship. Of course, while you are doing this for your Goldwater application, you are also doing this for your graduate school application, fellowship application, or for graduate school or a job. I'm certain you already know what I'm going to tell you. Use the Goldwater application criteria to establish a roadmap that will help you write a competitive application. Begin at the end. By this I mean start with the Goldwater criteria before or as you embark on a research project. Mentors, campus representatives, you can help your mentees be successful by providing them with these criteria. As a student, you want to work to address all the criteria on the Goldwater application. Strong applicants are often strong in all the areas reviewed by Goldwater. Our reviewers are looking for leaders. Join relevant clubs and organizations and take on leadership positions. It is important that you keep a detailed record of what research skills you have learned and what your specific contributions are to any research project. Also keep records of your contributions to your clubs and organizations. When the time comes, all this information will help you fill out your Goldwater application. Keeping records in a blog or a journal is a good practice for you to develop that will serve you throughout your career. Mentors, don't just suggest that students keep these kinds of records. Require your students to do so and periodically review these records with them. When it comes time to write a letter for your mentee, you will have a better overview of what the student has done, and therefore writing more meaningful letters will be substantially easier. Using the Goldwater criteria is not just about improving a student's chances of winning scholarships. It can also help ensure that students have worthwhile and productive undergraduate research experiences. Everyone should keep in mind that students coming into college are just being introduced to research and a research career. Students do not have the big picture. Review of the Goldwater criteria will help them begin to see the big picture. The criteria, for example, identify important outcome objectives like working towards a presentation and publication. The criteria also help set the bar. Working toward a publication sets a higher standard than a project that does not. Finally, with outcomes established, students can benchmark their progress against these outcomes. I would like to show you one example of a school that has practiced this guidance for years so that you can see what's possible. The school is Montana State University. Montana State's honors program starts working with students early. They host a freshman research symposium every fall. This one, in 2019, hosted 300 honors students and 10 high school students. 45 faculty gave 12-minute presentations on their research. The students arranged for follow-up office visits with faculty whose research interested them. Importantly, the STEM students were all given the Goldwater application criteria. MSU's Goldwater record is impressive. Between 2010 and 2020, the school nominated 4 students every year. On average, MSU students win 2.5 scholarships per year. This is not a last decade phenomenon. The school's total number of Goldwater awards is 78, tying them for 11th place nationally in total awards. I would like to stress that developing a strategy like this does not have to involve honors students or an honors program. You can develop a successful program that is much broader based. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something. There is a lot of information on the Goldwater webpage about applying for our scholarship. There are also some very interesting vignettes about our scholars that I think you'll enjoy reading. Please check them out. If you have questions about the Goldwater Scholarship or competition, do not hesitate to contact the Foundation's office. We are delighted to have the opportunity to help. Stay safe and stay well.